When my parents rewrote their will, they left me out completely and gave everything to my brother and his kids. At Sunday dinner, my mom looked me dead in the eyes and said, "We're not wasting our legacy on someone who never built anything." My dad scoffed, "You've always been the outside, might as well make it official." Then he raised his glass and toasted my brother, saying, "To the real future of this family." I just smiled coldly and said, "Thanks for finally showing me where I stand. You'll remember this moment, I promise," and left. Years later, I made a move that left them with nothing but regret. Now they're begging, "Please, talk to us." So yeah, I don't even know how to start this without sounding like I'm fishing for pity or whatever. I'm not. I just need to get this out. BCNGL, I'm about to snap thinking about it. I'm a guy, mid-30s, not married, no kids, and yeah, the other brother in the family. Always have been, always will be, apparently. But last Sunday pretty much hammered that home in a way I can't ignore anymore. So my parents, Dale and Colleen, do this Sunday dinner thing almost every week. It's like their ritual or whatever, like they're pretending we're still some 90s sitcom family. But honestly, it's always been about my older brother Curtis. He's got the wife, Opal. He's got 2 kids. Everyone acts like he's the second coming. I get it. He's the golden boy, always has been. But still, I show up, bring a bottle of wine or whatever, get the usual side hugs and, "Oh, you made it," like I just dropped in from Mars. Last Sunday felt off from the jump. Like, Mom was extra chatty, but only with Curtis and Opal, and Dad kept making these dumb comments about the future and family legacy while passing the potatoes. I kind of brushed it off, but then Mom looks at me and says I should help clear the table, and Curtis is all, "Nah, let him relax, he's a guest." And that actually stung more than I thought it would. Like, I'm not a guest, I'm your F********ing son. Anyway, after dinner, we're all sitting around and Dad stands up and taps his glass, like he's about to give a wedding speech or something. I actually thought he was going to make some dumb joke, but then he says they have an announcement. Mom is sitting there with this weird, tight smile, and Curtis looks smug as hell. Opal is scrolling on her phone, not paying attention. The kids are running around. Nobody cares. Dad goes, "So we've redone the will, and it's time to put the family's future in the right hands." I could already feel where this was going, but whatever. I'm just sitting there. Mom looks at me and says, "We're not wasting our legacy on someone who never built anything." Just straight up. I barely had time to react before Dad says, "You've always been the outside. Might as well make it official." I think I laughed. I don't even know. It wasn't funny, but what else do you do? Then Dad raises his glass to Curtis, says, "To the real future of this family." Curtis grins, clinks glasses with Dad, then Mom. Opal finally looks up, smirks, says something about, "Guess I married the right brother." I just sat there. Angel, I wanted to flip the table or just walk out, but I didn't. I said, "Thanks for finally showing me where I stand. You'll remember this moment, I promise." I got up, pushed my chair back, and walked out. Didn't even bother grabbing my jacket. As I was leaving, Mom says, "Don't be dramatic," but I just kept going. Slammed the door. I heard Curtis laugh, like full-on laugh, and that was it. Walked home. Didn't even check my phone till midnight. Mom sent a text like, "Hope you get home safe. Let's talk when you've calmed down." I didn't reply. Didn't sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept hearing Dad say "the outside," like I'm some stranger. IDK? That one just stuck. So, for context, this isn't new. I've always been the spare part. Curtis was the sports guy, the family man, whatever. I liked my own stuff, I wasn't a screw-up, but I didn't fit their mold. When I brought home good grades, it was never great job. It was, "Why aren't you more like Curtis?" Even when I was a kid, Dad would take Curtis to games or whatever. I'd get left home or dropped at my aunt's. I'm not saying I was perfect, but I was never actually bad. Just not the one they wanted, I guess. It's like they decided early I was the weird one, so whatever I did after just made it worse. What really gets me is how obvious it was. Like they weren't even trying to hide it. Dad's whole deal is he wants this legacy to keep going. The family name, the money, all that. He's got these rental properties he's obsessed with. Always bragged about how we built something from nothing. Reality, he and Mom bought a couple houses from her uncle years ago, rented them out, and now acts like he invented real estate. He's always let Curtis be involved, never me. Said I wasn't interested, but they never actually asked. I wasn't even invited to half the meetings or whatever. Just got told, "This isn't your thing." It's always been like this. I stopped asking a long time ago because, TBH, what's the point? The kicker is, I know why they treat me like this. It's not even complicated. I'm not Curtis. I don't play the family game. I don't kiss ass. And I don't pretend to care about stuff just because they do. Mom always wanted 2 perfect sons to show off, but only got 1. Dad wanted someone who'd carry his legacy, and since I didn't fit, I got shunted aside. Curtis loves the attention, so he plays right into it. He acts all nice, but he loves being the chosen one, and he knows exactly how to needle me. I think he gets off on it, honestly. And yeah, I'll admit it, being left out of the will actually does piss me off, but not for the money. I don't need their money. It's the principle. It's the way they did it. Like, I'm not even real. Like, why even invite me to dinner just to dump that on me? If you're gonna cut me out, just do it quietly. Don't rub it in with a damn toast. So after I left, I decided I'm done playing along. I'm not gonna grovel or try to get back in their good graces. I'm not texting them, not showing up for dinner, nothing. They made it official, so I'm gonna act like. If they want Curtis and his little family to be the future, then they can have him. But I'm not gonna be the joke anymore. I know some people are gonna say, just move on, don't let it get to you. But nah, I'm not wired like that. I don't forget. I don't forgive this kind of thing. You want to make it official? Fine, but don't act surprised when I stop giving a damn about your legacy. And, not gonna lie, I'm already thinking about what I'm gonna do about it. IDK if that's petty or whatever, but honestly, I don't care. So yeah, that's where it's at. Guess I finally know where I stand. Let's see how they like it when the outside stops playing nice. I'll update if anything else happens. Something tells me this isn't over. Update 1. So, update time. Honestly, I wasn't even gonna post again, but stuff got weird fast after that dinner. And not movie plot twist weird, just real life weird, where people act off in ways that make you second guess everything. If you read the first post, you know how my parents, Dale and Colleen, basically made it official that I'm just the extra, then toasted Curtis as the future and left me out of everything. I walked out, said my piece, figured that was that. But nah, the story didn't end there. First thing is, my phone was dead quiet for like 2 weeks after I bailed. No calls, no texts, besides a half-assed message from Mom the night it happened. I wasn't expecting much, but even for them it felt cold. So I did the same. Just went about my life, hung out with people who actually give AAS asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Kept my head down. Started ignoring the Sunday dinner invites when they popped up in the family group chat. At first, Curtis dropped a couple, "Hey, you coming?" texts with the fake nice stuff he does, but I left him on read. Then, out of nowhere, Mom calls and tries to sound casual about it, like she's checking in. Kind of forced, asking about my week. Am I taking care of myself? That kind of thing. I almost laughed, but just let her talk. Then she slips in. "Oh, by the way, we're having a birthday thing for one of Curtis's kids. Maybe I could come." I say I'm busy. She pushes it. Says it's important. I haven't seen the kids in months. I cave, mostly because I want to see if anything changed or if they're just trying to play nice for appearances. So I show up. Whole family is there, balloons, cupcakes, all that. Curtis is acting like we're best bros. Puts his arm around me. Keeps making loud jokes so everyone hears. I just nod along. Opal gives me this look like she's trying to figure out why I bothered. My parents are doing the everything is fine routine, but it's fake as hell. I end up in the kitchen with Mom. She's cutting fruit. And she just blurts out, "You know, Curtis is really stepping up with the properties." I kind of grunt. Don't say much, and she goes, "He's so responsible. Your dad is really proud." I just say, "Good for him." She doesn't press it, but something about how she says it sticks with me. Later, I'm outside scrolling through my phone, avoiding the chaos, and I overhear Curtis talking to one of his buddies from the old neighborhood. He's bragging about being the boss now, how managing the rentals is killing him, tenants are a pain, and how he's just waiting for things to settle down. But he's nervous. Keeps checking his phone, pacing around like he's waiting for bad news. I watch him for a bit, and I start to notice. He's not relaxed. He's not really enjoying the party. He's overwhelmed. I go back inside, see Dad and Curtis hunched over the dining table, looking at some kind of paperwork. Dad's voice is low and sharp. Curtis keeps defending himself, says something about, "The plumber never showed up." Dad snaps back, says something about, "Can't keep making excuses." And Curtis kind of pushes the chair back hard and walks away. Dad notices me, stops talking. So now I'm thinking, okay, maybe things aren't as perfect as they act. I start paying attention. Next couple weeks, I check in on the properties from a distance. Just drive by. Nothing stalkerish, just curious. One of the houses looks rough. Overgrown yard, trash piling up, paint peeling on the porch. I see a handwritten note taped to the door. I leave, but can't stop thinking about it. I run into a guy I know from high school who rents from my parents. He complains about the house, says the hot water barely works, the roof leaks, and nobody returns his texts. He says he's gonna stop paying rent if they don't fix it soon. I play dumb. Say, I don't know anything, but I'll mention it if I see them. He's annoyed, but shrugs it off. So I start doing some digging. Not hacking anything or breaking into accounts. Just good old-fashioned looking stuff up. County website, public records, whatever's open. I find out one of the properties is behind on taxes. Not by a ton, but enough. I check the city's code enforcement page. See complaints about trash, noise, and broken windows. None of this is new, but it's definitely gotten worse since Curtis took over. I'm not even surprised. He always wanted to be the man, but never actually put in the work. At another family thing, not a dinner, just a drop in because I needed to grab some old boxes from the garage, Dad corners me and asks if I've been talking to the tenants. He's got this edge in his voice, like he's mad but pretending not to be. I say no, but I heard from someone that the houses are falling apart. He gets defensive, says Curtis is handling it. Not to worry. I let it go, but now I know they're worried. A week later, I get a call from Opal. She never calls me, so I know it's not good. She starts off normal, then asks if I know anyone who can help with repairs, says Curtis is stressed and can't keep up. I say I'm busy. She gets annoyed, says the family needs to pull together. I just tell her, ask your husband. He's the future, remember? She hangs up. The next Sunday, I get another invite to dinner, but this time it feels loaded. Like they need me for something, not just family time. I go mostly out of curiosity. From the minute I walk in, it's tense. Dad barely looks at me. Mom tries to act normal, but she's snapping at everyone. Curtis is on his phone the whole time. I sit through dinner, don't say much. After, Mom asks if I can stay to chat. I say I'm tired, she insists, blocks the hallway. Dad gets up, slams his hand on the counter, says, we need to talk about the rentals. Curtis finally puts his phone down, starts whining about how hard it is, how nobody warned him it'd be this much work. I finally say, so why'd you cut me out if you needed help? Curtis fires back, says I never wanted to be involved. I was always too good for the family. He stands up, I stand up. We're in each other's faces. Mom tries to get between us. I shrug her off. Curtis pushes me, I push him back. Dad yells at both of us to knock it off. I look at all of them and just say, you made this bed. I'm not saving you now. I walk out, slam the door. As I'm leaving, I hear Mom start to cry. Dad swears. Curtis stomps off. I get to my car and sit there a minute, just shaking my head. After all those years of being told I'm not good enough, now I'm supposed to bail them out when the golden boy screws it up? Nah. So yeah, I'm not done. If they want to see what happens when the outside stops helping, I'll show them. I know more about those properties than they think. I know how to get leverage, and I'm not afraid to use it. If Curtis wants to play boss, let's see how he handles real pressure. Next update when I decide how hard I want to push. I'm not letting this slide. They wanted a legacy. They can deal with the fallout. Update 2. So it's been a minute. I've been seeing comments asking if I ever actually did anything after that last post, since a bunch of you said it sounded like I was all talk. Nah, I just don't post until something real happens, and TBH, I wanted to make sure I wasn't about to go full dumbass and do something I'd regret. Anyway, things have escalated, and I'm not going to pretend I'm proud, but I'm not sorry either. First off, you know how people act when they're desperate but trying to look chill? That's my family right now. I started getting these texts from my mom, not even hiding the fact that she wants something, just suddenly interested in my life like she's forgotten the last year. Random, hope things are well messages with a smiley face. She even called me at work, which she never does unless someone's dead or needs a kidney. I let it go to voicemail. She left a rambling message about family and how Curtis is under a lot of pressure. Not once does she say sorry or mention the will, obviously. Then Curtis starts up. He sends me a message on Facebook, which is hilarious because he always acts like he's too busy for social media. He says there's a situation with one of the properties, a pipe burst. The tenants are threatening to go public. He says he could really use a hand. I don't answer. He follows up with a long text blaming the city, the plumber, the tenants, basically everyone except himself. Finally, he calls. And when I don't pick up, he leaves a voicemail that's just him swearing and hanging up. I guess I should feel bad, but all I can think is, you wanted the responsibility, bro. Have fun with it. So I start putting on a little pressure. Nothing illegal, just making sure all the little problems get noticed. I tell the tenants at the worst property, the one with the leaking roof and broken heater, that they should absolutely call the city inspector if nothing gets fixed. I say it in passing, not like I'm plotting, just mentioning their rights. One of them says they already tried but haven't heard back, so I look up the number for them and text it. They're grateful, so whatever. Next week, I happen to be driving by and I see a city car parked outside that same property. I slow down, see a guy taking photos of the front steps, talking to a tenant. I don't stop, just keep going. 2 days later, Curtis calls again. Says the city is threatening fines and they have to fix a bunch of stuff ASAP. He's pissed. Says Dad is blaming him. Mom is stressed. Opal is tired of the drama. I just say, sounds rough. Hope you figure it out. There's a family group chat blow up that night. Mom says everyone needs to pull together. Dad jumps in with his usual "we built this legacy" speech. Then Curtis says something about how I'm not helping and it's easy to judge from the sidelines. I reply, you picked your team. Stick with it. Dad leaves the chat. Now I'm getting calls from Opal, which is wild because she's been cold to me for years. She says Curtis is at his limit. The kids are stressed. She needs me to be the bigger person. I say, ask your husband. He's the future, remember? She hangs up. Meanwhile, I keep hearing from other tenants about broken stuff, late repairs, no heat. A couple mention the city is now checking in. The fines start adding up, and I know for a fact the money isn't there because Curtis already tried to borrow from me last year and I laughed him off. Dad ends up calling me, says this is bigger than family drama, tells me to step up. I'm barely polite. I say they made their choice, live with it. Here's the thing, I didn't set out to ruin anything, but I'm not lifting a finger to save them. And I'm not stopping tenants from demanding what they're owed. I make sure every complaint goes where it should. I tell people about the city's rental hotline, show them how to file stuff online. I even sit with one guy at a cafe while he fills out the form on his phone. He's not my friend. He's just sick of living with mold. Curtis gets more desperate. He actually shows up at my door unannounced, which he's never done before, not even as kids. He's flushed, sweating, tries to act tough, but then starts begging. He says, "You don't have to do this. You're just mad because of the will." I say, nah, I'm mad because you all treated me like asterisk, asterisk, asterisk for decades. He shoves me. I shove him back. He raises his hand like he's going to slap me, but I grab his wrist and push him out the door. I lock it and turn off the lights. Later that night, I get a string of texts from Mom, all in caps, saying this is tearing the family apart. Why am I so bitter? Why can't I just be happy for Curtis? I don't answer. Dad calls and just yells at me for 2 minutes straight, says I'm no son of his, then hangs up. A week goes by, I start hearing from people I barely know, distant cousins, old family friends. They're asking what's going on, saying my parents are saying I'm causing trouble. I just say, ask them. I'm not hiding anything. I notice Dad isn't posting his usual family business bragging on Facebook anymore. Curtis goes silent. Opal blocks me. I drop by one of the properties just to see. It's bad. City notice taped to the door, grass up to my knees, windows cracked. A couple tenants are moving out. I see Dad and Curtis in the driveway arguing. Dad slams the car door and drives off. Curtis sits on the curb, head in his hands. The kicker is, I hear from a neighbor that the city is considering pulling their rental license for one of the buildings. If that happens, they'll have to sell or fix everything at once, which, knowing them, they can't. Dad always acted like he was a king, but he never did the work, just let stuff slide and hoped Curtis would pick it up. Now they're both in over their heads and nobody's coming to save them. I know some people are going to say I should step in, be the bigger man, but nah. I'm not interested in being a martyr for people who never gave a damn. They made their choice, now they can live with it. I'm not doing anything illegal, just letting things play out. If the city shuts them down, that's on them. So yeah, the house always wins. Not this time. Not when the cards are marked. They're scrambling. I'm just watching. And it feels pretty damn good to finally be the one holding all the cards, even if I had to burn some bridges to get here. I'll update when the dust settles. Something tells me this isn't even the worst of it yet. Final update. NGL, I didn't plan to write again, but it's wild how stuff can go from bad to straight up embarrassing, and not even in some dramatic TV way, just real. Anyway, here's how the whole legacy thing finally blew up in their faces and why I'm not answering their calls. Not now. Not ever. So, after the last round of chaos, things actually got kinda quiet. I thought maybe they'd figure it out or at least try to fix their own mess, but nah. Instead, it was like everyone just shut down. Group chat went dead. No more guilt trip texts from Mom. No more fake concern from Opal. I'd see Curtis's car at my parents' house some days, parked crooked like he left in a hurry, but I didn't bother to stop or check in. Then, out of nowhere, I get a letter in the mail. Not even a text, but an actual letter. It's from Dad, and he's trying to sound calm, but you can just tell he's on edge. He says they're facing complications with the city. They need temporary support from family, and maybe it's time to talk things over. Man to man. I laugh and toss it in a drawer. Not even 2 days later, I'm at the gas station and run into a guy who rents from them. He's pissed, says he got a notice he has to move out by the end of the month. City pulled the rental permit, and he's not getting his deposit back. He asks if I know what's up with Curtis. I just say, no clue, man. Haven't talked to them in ages. I go home and check the public record. One of the houses is listed for sale. Another one is under code review. I find a city meeting agenda online and see my parents' address listed for a hearing code violations. Not hard to connect the dots. They're desperate. So then the calls start. First, it's Curtis, leaving voicemails that start out angry, then get all weirdly polite. He says, I know we haven't seen eye to eye, but we're family. We gotta stick together. He says he's stressed. Opal took the kids to her mom's for a few days. He's barely sleeping. Then Mom calls, leaves a long message, crying. Says she's sorry for how things went down. She misses having me over. She wants to fix things. I just block her number. Dad tries texting, says he's willing to make changes if I'll just talk to him. I leave him on read. Then I get a knock at my door. It's Curtis, looking rough. like he hasn't shaved or slept in days. He tries to come in. I block the door. He says, "You're really just gonna let everything fall apart?" I say, "You made it official, remember?" He tries to push past me. I shove him back. He actually slaps the door frame, then just stands there staring. I tell him to leave. He does. Next week, I start getting messages from random relatives. Aunt Holly, who never liked me, suddenly wants to check in. Cousin Ramon, who never even came to my graduation, says family is all we have. I ignore. I don't owe these people any. City posts a notice on their main property. Big orange sticker, right on the door. I drive by just to see it myself. Dad's outside, arguing with a guy in a city jacket. Mom's on the porch, crying. Curtis is nowhere. I park down the street and watch for a minute. Dad sees my car, waves me over. I just roll up the window and drive off. Few days later, I find out the Jewel property is for sale, but the price is stupid low. I talk to a guy I know who's into properties. He says they're desperate. City's threatening to auction it off if they don't fix the violation. I make an offer, through my friend. Nothing fancy, just business. It goes through. I own the house my dad always bragged about. A week after that, I get a letter from their lawyer. Not a threat, just a sad attempt to ask if I'd consider selling it back to them at a fair price. I don't even respond. Curtis calls me 3 times. I don't answer. Mom tries to come by. I don't open the door. Dad drives past my place twice. Doesn't stop. It's honestly weird how fast people change their tune when they need you. For years, I was the outside, the spare, the one who never built anything. Now I'm the only one who can fix what they broke, and I'm not even interested. A lot of people would say this is the time to forgive, but nah. I don't forget stuff like that, and I don't owe them a thing. They picked their golden boy and gave him the keys. He drove the whole operation off a cliff. That's on them. Now I keep getting these texts, voicemails, emails, even a handwritten note from Mom left in my mailbox. Please talk to us. Please just hear us out. Please, Gus, we're family. I don't answer any of them. Not one. Sometimes when I drive by the old house, I see Dad in the yard, just standing there. He doesn't wave anymore. Mom's never outside. Curtis's car is gone most days. I bought the place, but I don't plan to live there. It's just a piece of paper and a set of keys to me now. Legacy, right? They were so obsessed with not wasting it. Turns out, they wasted it on themselves way before I ever got a shot. So yeah, that's it. They're begging now, but silence is all they get from me. If you're reading this and thinking I went too far, maybe. But honestly, this is the first time in my life I don't feel like the outsider. I'm good with that.